So the Samsung Galaxy S9 is one of those phones that Samsung made many years ago, and although it would not be the first phone I would recommend people to buy anymore, it is still a very interesting device that Samsung made, and I still give them a lot of credit for making a device like this because it was such a good device when it first came out. So starting off with the outside, not much has changed with this phone for the last couple of years. It stopped getting software support like many years ago. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to even buy a phone like this anymore. But starting off, the screen on this thing is still fairly good. 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display, 1440p. It's a very good looking panel. You're still getting a very high resolution screen on this thing. Higher resolution than even the S23 Plus, which is pretty crazy. And it looks pretty good. I still think this is a really decent looking panel. You're getting a USB Type-C port on this thing, you're getting a headphone jack, and you're getting a microSD card slot on this device as well. And this is some really good I/O to have in a device like this because it still holds up very well in this day and age. And like I mentioned before, when you're getting a device like this, all I would do is I would just go ahead and just make sure that a phone like this is still getting software support. In this case, this phone is not getting software support, so it doesn't really make sense to buy it at all. But the hardware is still very decent for this type of device. Now, on top of that, with this type of phone, you are still getting things like, the glass back. You're still getting, what else are you getting? You're getting the single camera setup, fingerprint sensor on the back, wireless charging, IP certification. Still a very decent looking phone and still a very decent performing phone at that. So I think from that perspective, this is still a very important phone. And I would say the hardware definitely outlasted the software here. It happens very rarely, but in a case like this, the hardware, meaning the outside of this phone, is actually performing better than the software and the internals of this phone have probably in the last couple of years. In terms of the camera, there's really not too much here. It's a single camera on the back, kind of a dual camera setup on the front, but not really. Wide, you have that 4K at 60 on the front, you have that 4K at 60 on the back, and you have 1440p on the front, which is kind of a nice touch to have. Again, when you're getting a device like this, you are getting a device that still has lots of power inside. When you're getting a device like this, you're still getting a decent camera, but it's really not that good of a camera anymore. So that's kind of the problem, and that's kind of the area that we're stuck in right now. So that kind of covers it up there. Software, this is the easy one. This thing stopped getting software support, several years ago. So that is by far the biggest reason why I would not recommend buying a phone like this, is because it is very outdated with software. And when a phone is outdated with software like this, it just doesn't make any sense to buy it at all. Now, in terms of performance, this thing does have that Snapdragon 845 chipset inside of it with 4GB of RAM. And much like how I felt with the Galaxy S8, this is still a phone that still has very basic performance as of this day and age. It's kind of slow. It just doesn't have that much power inside. And again, you're just stuck in this weird phase where this phone is just not getting software support. It's not getting any faster. It's probably getting slower, if anything, and it's just not that good of a performing device anymore. But back in 2018, it kind of was a good performing phone. So to kind of sum up this mid-year review of this thing, I definitely do think the Galaxy S9, it was an important phone when it first came out, but it really isn't a phone I would recommend buying anymore. It's just kind of stuck in this weird limbo phase, and you're probably much better off buying something like a Galaxy S21 or a phone like that that's like 2020 or 2021 or newer, rather than buying like a 5-year-old Android phone as of right now. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.